We all know about central banks buying gold at a record pace. We also know the largest category of gold owners in the world. But what about other institutions that are buying gold? Well, we're going to talk about them in this video as we explore. It's very easy for us to make a correlation between gold's price and central bank buying of gold. That has been proven. In fact, even if other factors come into play, I don't think we're going to see gold fall too much, even though I think it is overdue for some sort of correction. Notwithstanding this other organizations that are buying gold as well, and I think it's quite intriguing when you find out who some of these players are. Now, we know the largest buyers of gold are you and I. In other words, the world population, individuals. And one of the best places to go to get the best prices for gold is Summit Metals. They're the channel sponsor. Go check them out at summitmetals.com. You're going to find that they have the best prices, especially on fractional gold out there with Eagle. So check out summitmetals.com. But gold is a metal that has been treasured for thousands of years, and that has not changed, nor will change, no matter what happens. The only thing that will happen is how you buy it, and how it will be accessed, and how it will be stored down the road. Of course, who stores it is even more important than that, because really it all involves secure vaults to store your gold, such as, the gold that you see that the central banks hold. Very, very secure. We've seen the images from the Russian central bank. We've seen images and video from the Bank of England. And we've also seen, even though controversial, images and video from the vaults at Fort Knox and other places. But nonetheless, central bank gold buying is what makes the headlines. But there's other organizations as well, such as states. You've heard me talk about the revolution for sound money and how some states in the U.S. are indeed stockpiling gold. They have their own precious metal vaults, and they are starting. Now, this is really kind of in its infancy, but we know there's a precious metal vault in Texas, for instance, as one of the most famous examples. But other states are looking as well, too, to stockpile gold to be their own central bank, especially with what's going on with our central bank, which only owns certificates that represent that gold stored by the U.S. Treasury in Fort Knox and New York and other places. But gold itself is treasured and stockpiled by states around the country. And I think we're going to see more of that as the Federal Reserve does more things to devalue and to provide a hidden tax to us, since they have essentially done a lot of damage to the dollar, over the years. So this is why states are looking to declare independence, if you will, from the Federal Reserve by holding some of their savings in gold. I think that's important and quite profound, and I think that's huge news in and of itself. But what's even bigger news is what other organizations are doing with gold. It's not just states, and it's not just governments that are stockpiling gold, and it's not just people, but it's also some of the other organizations that are involved in the tech industry. In fact, even tokens and organizations such as we see with Kinesis, they've been doing this for quite a long time, and they do regular audits on their gold in order to provide that level of security and that they come to know and trust with what they have there. But this is a news that has just broken, shared with me by Red Crawler, about what Tether is doing. Their XAUT token is backed by now 7.7 tons of gold in a Swiss vault, according to the company. And this is pretty big news, because I think this really sets the stage and is kind of groundbreaking. And as we see the potential for a new era of competition with digital tokens backed actually by precious metals. We've talked about it, and I've seen some of this stuff happen with other tokens, and you hear talk about it. But how much trust can you put into it? Well, I guess that really is a matter of your level of understanding of these companies that do this. Now, this is not a sponsored video, by the way. This is just a story that's shared with me by Red Crawler, and because of the amount and so massive that this is, it's worthy of news. Tether's gold-backed stablecoin, the Tether Gold XAUT, reached a $770 million market capitalization as of the 28th of April, according to the company's first attestation under El Salvador's financial regulations. While central banks are stacking up hundreds of tons of gold, XAUT is set to become the standard tokenized gold product for the people and institutions, according to its CEO, Paolo Arduino, who has posted about this. The token is backed at 1-to-1, and that's important because it is. I think the idea of derivatives and other things that are involved around digital assets, if you can't have that faith that is backed fully at 1-to-1, I think that dilutes the value overall officially, and obviously it dilutes it. But this is backed at 1-to-1 by 246,523.33 ounces. That's over 7.7 tons of physical gold stored in a dedicated Swiss vault, according to Tether. Each XAUT token represents 1 troy ounce of LBMA's certified gold. Tether said it applies strict controls, including gold bar verification and periodic audits, to maintain trust in the token's backing. Well, if they're like Kinesis, they would do better and actually provide public audits of the gold where each serial number is tracked for each bar. Now, I think they would be, really in a sense, Kinesis is ahead of the game in that regard. But I think what Kinesis does and what Tether is, I think, is a little different, but I could be wrong. Tether said it applies these strict controls, including their bar verification, but put it out to the public. The attestation comes at a time when global investors are increasingly turning to gold as a hedge against economic instability and rising geopolitical risks. Central banks, particularly across the BRICS nations, have been buying gold at record levels, accumulating over 1,044 metric tons in 2024 alone, according to the World Gold Council. They've been doing that starting in 2022 amidst the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and that has caused a storm of gold's price surging up higher and higher. And now we're seeing organizations like Tether and Kinesis continuing to accumulate gold as well. And I think with the states starting to do this, that's a lot less gold for you and I when there's a limited supply, when some of these organizations are doing it to back up tokens and what have you. I think that's big news, and that's only going to really cause the prices to, if they correct, to really limit the correction of the price of gold, which means that likely we're probably not going to see $2,500 gold again for some time unless something dramatically changes in that area. Even I do feel that gold is somewhat overvalued. I do think it's limited into how much it's overvalued at this point. Gold has touched numerous record highs in 2025, like well over 24, amid ongoing rally that's seen in its price gain about 27% year to date. So now we're seeing that have it more than double since November of 2022 when all this kind of had started. Now, unlike other tokenized gold products, Tether says it's physically backed and regulated, positioning it as a safer option for users wary of paper gold exposure. I know nothing about Tether. I don't know what those regulations are. In the end, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. But that's good news. And if they can provide stable audits and what have you, and maybe even the ability to acquire, take possession of the gold like what Kinesis does, I think they could provide another service that it's going to really rival the dollar in other areas. So this is fascinating news. But you know what? I think that no matter, even though these options are available with states and what have you, because I guess with the states you can store your gold there, you can quote invest in it. But I think there's something about having gold in your possession that I think is unmatched by anything else out there. I believe in gold as a way to preserve your wealth, and having it in physical form, it does not negate risk. It just transfers it from counterparty to single party, which means that you have to be diligent on upkeeping it and keeping it secure. And that's crucial and important, not only for your gold, but even more importantly for your family, because if people know you have gold in your home or or at a location where you're at, that can cause big problems as threats to your loved ones. Which is why I think it's a good idea to shift that counterparty risk to individuals that you trust that are very secure. If you can store it off-site in a way to remove yourself as a target, that's best. It's what I do. Getting access to it and at any time that you need it is also crucial and important, but it involves trust with an individual that was available to do that and make that happen with, or organization or what have you. It's about access and it's about security. And but if you don't have that option, storing at home, it's incredibly important to be able to have a good protection and good security and surveillance there. So there you have it. Now, this is fascinating, I think, to see that with all this talk about central banks, now we have other areas where there's stockpiling going on that very well could really cause gold's price to climb even further. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.